Last week the M23 rebels captured Goma, the biggest city in eastern DRC and the capital of North Kivu province. According to reports, over 900 people died, and agencies estimate the death toll could be higher, with mass graves being discovered days after the capture of the town. The United Nations accuses neighboring Rwanda for backing the rebel group that claims to be fighting to protect the rights of the minority Tutsi who either fled to the DRC following the 1994 Rwanda genocide, or were geographically cut by borders to the DRC side during colonial times. The conflict threatens to escalate into a regional conflict with South Africa, Burundi, Tanzania, Malawi, and a number of international mercenaries already taking side with the Kinshasa government. On the other side, M23 is with Rwanda. But what would happen if a full-blown regional war erupted? Who would be the winners and the losers, and why? To understand this scenario, we need to look at the history. First, it's very impossible that a war in the Democratic Republic of Congo can be won by any side. The DRC has been a battleground for decades, with over 120 armed groups operating in its eastern mineral-rich regions. This brings us to the real reason for the war. Many countries with military presence in the Democratic Republic of Congo are not there to stabilize Congo, rather they are there to destabilize the country to create an environment for continued illegal exploration and mining of the country's resources. The M23 rebels, a faction primarily composed of ethnic Tutsis, have been a persistent threat, accusing the Congolese government of marginalizing their community. The group first emerged in 2012, backed by Rwanda, and while they were defeated in 2013, they re-emerged in 2021, reigniting tensions. But why are the M23 rebels more interested in capturing the eastern part of the country? Well, geography has it that the eastern DRC is the basket of the world's most sought-after minerals, including 70% of the world's cobalt supplies, 30 to 40 metric tons of world gold supplies, 10% of the world diamond supplies, plus 31% of world tantalum supplies, and a good percentage of the world tin. These minerals, literally thought to be a blessing to the DRC, have turned to be a curse for the country. Where every world power is looking to create a situation in the Democratic Republic of Congo that abets the exploration of these minerals. Imagine, the M23 announced a ceasefire, and on the same day American embassy in Kinshasa issues a security alert urging all its citizens to take advantage of commercial flights to leave Kinshasa. Yet during the past days, as the M23 pressed their assault, the American had no reason to issue a security alert to their citizens. With all this said, a regional war in the DRC would see world powers rally behind either Rwanda and the M23 or the Kinshasa regime backed by South Africa, Burundi, Tanzania, Malawi, and other mercenaries. This composition already seems to suggest the Kinshasa regime with its allies, especially South Africa, would have a better advantage. Given South Africa's military strength and technology, the country not only possesses advanced weapons like the Denel AH-2 Ruivork attack helicopter, Saab JS-39 Gripen fighter jets, Umkhonto ground-based air defense system, GBADS, G6 Rhino self-propelled howitzer, and the Badger infantry fighting vehicle, AFV. The country is also one of the biggest manufacturers of military hardware in the continent, like the Mamba APC, Badger ILV, G5 howitzers, and R4 and R5 assault rifles. Congo also has a large geographical advantage with a surface area of up to 2,344,858 square kilometers compared to Rwanda, which is only 26,338 square kilometers. In essence, about 89 Rwandas fit in the Democratic Republic of Congo. But the ugly truth is that war is not always won like that. Otherwise, Israel, which is one of the smallest countries on planet Earth, would not be able to wage front lines in Lebanon, Iran, and Palestine as well as in Yemen. Technology-wise, South Africa's technological advantage does not guarantee pure success, otherwise Russia with its technological superiority would have beaten Ukraine long time ago. This is where other factors come to play, including level of training and equipment, air superiority, proximity, understanding of the terrain, regional support, and motivation for fighting. The Congolese army, FARDC, is large but poorly equipped and riddled with corruption. Despite this, they have the advantage of controlling major cities and infrastructure. The M23 rebels, on the other hand, are smaller but highly mobile and well-trained, thanks to external support. The DRC's vast and rugged terrain would make it difficult for either side to achieve a decisive victory. Rwanda and the M23 would enjoy an overall advantage in understanding the terrain backed by their knowledge of the local dialect spoken by the communities in the region. Additionally, Rwanda would enjoy proximity, making it very swift to transport reinforcement and ammunition to the front lines, as South Africa and Tanzania may require a lot of planning and logistical backing to deliver ammunition to the battlefield. The distance between Kigali to the battlefield, as well as that between Pretoria and Dar es Salaam to the battlefield, would allow Rwanda to quickly deploy its helicopters, drones, and fighter aircrafts at the quickest opportunity. The other fact is motivation for the war. While South Africans, Tanzanians, Malawians, Burundians, and other mercenary groups fighting alongside the Kinshasa government are fighting for money, they hope to return to their families, which unfortunately some of them never get to make. The M23 backed by Rwanda, on the other hand, are fighting to avoid a genocide against their people. It's a do-or-die situation. This could result into fighters surrendering in tense moments, as it was witnessed in Goma. But with all that said, the regional influence would be the biggest factor in determining who wins this war. And when it comes to East Africa, there is one kingmaker. That is President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni of Uganda and his mighty Uganda People Defense Forces. This man plays a significant role in the politics of the Great Lakes region, and he decides who the king becomes and who does not. His actions were witnessed in South Sudan during the 2016 conflict, when he intervened to save the government of Salva Kiir from the rebels led by Riek Machar, who were marching to capture Juba. His Sukhoi S-30 fighter jet spit fire that erased columns of rebels a few kilometers to capturing Juba. Recently, when chaos erupted in Kenya, as President William hung to power by a drinking straw, reports indicated he was saved by the interventions of the Special Forces Command of Uganda. A commando-trained specialized unit charged with protecting the President of Uganda and its high-value assets. The Uganda People's Defense Forces is a battle-hardened army carrying out deadly missions across the continent in South Sudan, Somalia, Cameroon, Central African Republic, Chad, and the DRC itself. This expertise, backed by advanced weapons, including surface-to-air missiles, multiple rocket launchers, Mi-24 attack helicopters, and armored carriers, would mean a lot in this battlefield. The big question would be, which side would Uganda fall to? And I think the answer is pretty clear. It will fall on the side of Rwanda and the M23. The two countries are close allies. That President Kagame at one point served in Uganda as a Minister for Defense and the head of military intelligence. Additionally, subsequent UN reports jointly accused the two countries of backing the M23. And since Uganda has made so many kings in the region, including in South Sudan, Kenya, and Somalia, these countries will undoubtedly fall behind Uganda, Rwanda, and the M23. A regional war would have devastating consequences. The DRC is home to some of the world's largest reserves of cobalt, copper, and other critical minerals. A prolonged conflict would disrupt global supply chains, driving up prices for electronics and electric vehicles. Humanitarian crises would also escalate, with millions displaced and famine likely in conflict zones. So, who would win? If the conflict remains localized, the Congolese government, with its numerical advantage and international support, could eventually suppress the rebels. However, if Rwanda and Uganda escalate their involvement, the situation becomes far more complicated. A protracted war could lead to a stalemate, with the DRC's eastern regions becoming a permanent conflict zone. Ultimately, the outcome would depend on diplomacy. Regional powers like South Africa and the African Union would need to broker a peace deal, while the international community would have to pressure Rwanda and Uganda to cease their support for the rebels. Without a political solution, the cycle of violence will continue, and the Congolese people will pay the price. What do you think? Could a regional war in the Congo be avoided, or is it inevitable? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more in-depth analyses like this one. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.